Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Tim and I want to show you how I like to prepare my newspaper articles in my genealogy. Now I have a few newspaper articles that I like to prepare here. I'm just going to do one for you today, and that's going to be Hattie Harrison's party. She got that in the paper that she was having a 21st birthday party. So I'm going to open this up and show it to you, so you can see what I'm getting at. And when I prepare my newspaper articles, I like to have them as PDFs, but I like to have one page of the PDF be the actual item of interest, and I like for the other page of the PDF to be the whole page of the newspaper with the newspaper title and date. So here's the page that I want to work with. This is This Week in Society from the Philadelphia Inquirer of April 2nd, 1899. And under the melange of events is an ancestor of mine. If I can zoom in here. A great aunt, Hattie Harrison. A surprise party was tendered to Miss Hattie Harrison on her birthday, March 13th, at her home, 4907 Girard Avenue. And I want to create one page of my PDF to highlight this portion of the article, and I want the second page of my PDF to be the full page from which I got that snippet. And I may like to include a little headline here that this is part of the melange of events, and you're going to see what I'm going to do there. So let me close this, and the software I'm going to be using to do this is GIMP, of course, which is my favorite photo editing software. I do all my photos on it, and I'm also going to use the PDF split and merge software. This is free software. Platform independent means that you can use it on Windows, Mac, Linux. So if you don't have this, you can click on download and find your platform in here. So most people would use Windows, but there's options here for other computer users. I'm on Linux myself, but don't let that daunt you. You can do this on any platform, Windows, Apple, or Linux. Okay, so that's a software I'm going to be using. You can get it from these websites, GIMP and PDF split and merge. And here is the article, or the page rather, that I want to work with. I'm going to right click on this and I'm going to open with GIMP, GNU Image Manipulation Program. And as these newspaper articles are fairly large files, they take a little while to load. So you're going to see the GIMP load up, and when you open a PDF in GIMP, it asks you how you want to present this data. And the resolution is usually kind of small for something like what I'm doing. So I like to bump this up to 400. And if you go higher than that, the file becomes kind of huge and difficult to work with if your computer is not the greatest. And my computer is very, very average. So 400 is a good max number for me to work with. And I'm going to import this image. A 400 resolution will ensure that I can read all the fine print on this page, and you can see progress bar is moving, and here is my page. Now if I use my shift and plus key, you can see I can zoom in on this article and I can actually read it. Okay, so important part of doing this kind of work is finding on this page the information you're going to work with, and this is the information here. Okay. Surprise party was tendered to Miss Hattie Harrison. Good for her. Okay. And I also want to save this part here that says melange of events. It just gives a good introduction to the section of the article that's of interest. So what I'm going to do is use my rectangle select to select a portion of this top part here. Okay, and I will copy that, and I'm going to make a new layer out of it. Right click over my layers. Now if I move my button monitor here, you can see I have layers set up in my right tool screen here. So I'm going to right click on there to add a new layer, and this is where I'm going to work with these little clippings. So I'm going to click OK, and I'm going to hide my newspaper layer, and I'm going to paste just that portion. Okay, and I'm going to do something similar to the actual important part. Okay, and to do that I'm going to reveal, well, first I can anchor this layer here just to let the computer know that I'm finished moving it around for now. There. Okay, so that's anchored. I'm going to reveal once again my full article, but this time I want to copy the relevant information about my great aunt's surprise party. And I'm going to go up a little high and come down a little low. I'm going to copy, Control C to copy this portion, and I am going to come back up here, hide my newspaper by clicking on the eyeball, and I'm going to paste. Okay, probably what you've seen is that the pasting didn't quite occur where I had intended it. So to handle that, I'm going to try again. Okay. Oh, you know what happened? This is a common error. I do this all the time. This is a good learning experience. But what happened was I probably had my blank layer selected. Let's get rid of this layer. And delete layer. And right, so if you have the blank layer selected, it's not going to select the information that you want. So let's try this again. Good learning experience. I do this all the time. Okay, so like even though I have my own website where I do photo restorations, I still do this. Okay, accidentally have the wrong layer selected. Okay, so if you notice you try to paste something, you're not getting any result, chances are you may have had the wrong layer selected. So here I'm going to actually select the correct layer, which is the full page information, and I'm going to do this a second time. Okay, good teaching moment. Go up a little high, come down a little low, Control C to copy, and now I want to switch to my blank layer, hide my newspaper layer, and now I want to paste this again. Okay. Alright, where did that end up? It ended up down here. Okay, so before you anchor the layer, you can use your move tool to move this. I'm going to move this right under the opening section, and you can see what my purpose is. Basically, I just want to skip over all that stuff that's not relevant at all. Okay. So here's where I will put it. Okay. I'm going to try to line it up like so. All right. Now, I'm going to anchor that. Right click, anchor layer. Now, what I like to do is add a little jagged portion here. I'm going to use my free select tool to do this, and the jagged portion is just going to be a little indication that I have skipped a lot of stuff. So I just go like this. And all the stuff that I'm skipping is all other people's parties, okay, which is not relevant. Now I want to be sure I don't hit any of my relevant material here. Okay. Now I've created a selection using the free select tool, and I'm going to fill that selection in. Fill whole selection. Be sure to hit this little button, and then I'm just going to fill this in black and see what has happened. It's created a little jagged, faux tear where I skipped a lot of irrelevant stuff. And I'm going to do a similar thing down at the bottom of this, just to show that this article goes on, and it just goes on with a lot of stuff that's not relevant to me. Okay. And then what I do is I join this image in a PDF file with the full page. So if anyone's actually curious what were all the parties going on in town, they can look that up on the second page of my final PDF. Okay, so here's my article. Okay, here's my article, and last thing I'm going to do is crop down to a single rectangle. Okay, starting up here and coming down to about there. Image, crop the selection. No, Control Z, don't do that. Okay, what had happened was, see, always teaching moments. I had this thing selected down here already, and that was interfering with my new selection. So let's do this again. I have just deselected by clicking outside. I'm going to try this again. Image, crop to selection. Good, that's what it's supposed to look like. Okay, so this is going to be my first page of my PDF file that highlights this article. So, melange of events, here's some stuff that happened, and among those things was a surprise party was tendered to Miss Hattie Harrison. Good. Okay, for this I can actually delete this original layer here, and now I'm left with just the important part. Okay. Now that I have the information that I want to highlight, next thing I want to do is make sure I size it properly. Okay, so normally this will entail blowing up this clipping to a larger size. So to do that, I'm going to select image and then scale image. Okay, and I like to view inches. Here's metrics if you're up for metrics, but I do inches. And you can see the width of this. It's an inch. Yeah, we're dealing with something about 1.5 inches. Okay, but I want this to be blown up to maybe 4 or 5 inches. So to do that, I'm going to actually not change the size directly, but change the resolution. When you change the resolution, it automatically changes for you the size of it. So I'm going to change my resolution, and I want this to be about maybe 4 inches wide, something like that. Bring the width to about 4 inches. 4.5 might be good. Let me do 4.5. Okay. Okay, so this has been blown up. You didn't see a big change on your screen, but within the computer's memory, it recognizes this as having been blown up. Okay, and finally, I will File, Export As, and here's Hattie Harrison's party. I'm going to change this to just Hattie Harrison's Party 1. This is going to be the first of a 2-page PDF. And I will export that. And export. And good. So I'm going to close this image editor. Discard changes. I'm going to discard the changes on this one, but bear in mind that this has already been exported and it's to my liking, so I don't need to save any of my layers or any of my extra stuff like that. I'm just going to discard all that and trust that it's been exported. So here's my export that I just made, and here is the unchanged original full page. Okay, so I'm going to open this in a PDF viewer, and you can see that's what it looks like. If I reduce this to 100%, that's a pretty good size if you just want to view this item. Okay, I'm going to close this and return to my original full page here. I'm going to open this once again with GIMP. Now, I'm going to do a few things to this original full page newspaper. First thing is, of course, increase my resolution. But what I want to do here is add highlights to the important information so it's easier to find. If somebody wanted to browse this whole page, check out what's going on in the city, I would like for them to be able to see exactly where I pulled the information that I used earlier. Okay. And once this loads, you're going to see what I'm going to do. Okay, so here's our full page once again. And basically I want to put highlights on the information that I just excerpted, okay, a little bit ago. So I'm going to Shift plus to zoom in. And basically I just want to highlight this headline, and I want to highlight this information about the party, okay, which is down here. To do that, I will right-click on my layers toolbox, and I will create a new layer, and this is going to be a transparent layer. It's going to be right on top of the newspaper layer, and all I want to do here, pretty simple, is draw boxes where I want to highlight, Okay, select that portion, and I want to fill this in with a color. My preferred color for highlighting things is purple. That's just me. You can color this any color you like, but I've got purple in here, and I'm going to use my bucket to fill the whole selection with purple. Okay, so I've filled the whole selection with purple. We're going to come back later and make that transparent. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing down here to the actual birthday party information. Here it is, a surprise party tendered to Miss Hattie Harrison, 21st birthday. Okay, a joyous occasion. And Sally, Ellen Harrison is her twin sister, so why she didn't get equal billing at the surprise party, I don't know, but whatever. Okay. Let me resize this a little bit and then fill this with purple as well. Alright, so I have two selections. I'm using my minus sign to zoom out, and basically here's my opacity meter for this whole layer, and I'm just going to reduce that down to maybe 20, something like that. And basically the point is, when somebody sees this page on their computer, I want them to be able to immediately spot the information that I have excerpted. So here you have it. Okay, if somebody sees this sheet, they're going to know, okay, here's the headline and here is the pertinent information. Okay, now as with the first page, I want to size the second page. So I will choose Image, Scale Image. Okay, view my inches. And I like to make these things about the size of a letter, letter size document, 8.5 by 11. Okay. What you could do is raise the resolution a little bit. I'm kind of wary about going above 400 dots per inch. So I like to just keep this at 400. 400 is usually good, and I'm just going to drop this down to 8.5. Okay, if you really stickler, you want every pixel in there, you can go ahead and raise your resolution, but 400 I think does it for me. Okay, and this scale takes a little bit longer to complete because I made more of a change. Okay, I might even fast forward this video a little bit to spare you guys. Probably wasn't even worth it. Right, so this is just going to go. Okay, so that actually took me about 5 minutes on my slow computer. Hopefully your computer is better than mine and it'll go a little faster for you. But it's done now. Let's take a look and zoom in here to make sure that the writing is still legible. If you shrink this down too small, some of this writing may not be legible. So just make sure you can read the information. And two things that I want to make sure you're aware of. First of all, you may open a newspaper article that's actually formatted black and white. So if you try to add a color block to it, it's not going to come in color. It's going to come in some shade of gray. If you notice that happening, what you want to do is under Image and Mode, you want to change that from grayscale to RGB. Okay, so a lot of newspaper websites, to save on file size or whatever, will choose a grayscale image. Okay, if you get a grayscale image, you can't add color to it until you change that to RGB. I didn't have to worry about that here. but I do download from some websites where I have to make that switch. Also, on some older versions I've noticed of GIMP, you will have to merge this layer down before exporting as a PDF, for the reason that, for some reason I don't understand, the opacity does not get saved in the PDF, so it basically just looks like you redacted something, which is not what you want. So if you notice that you've made a PDF and there's a big solid color block, basically what that means is I think you have an older version of GIMP. And if you're working with an older version of GIMP, you would have to merge this down to a single layer before exporting as a PDF. If you have a newer version of GIMP, I don't think that's a problem anymore. I think that's been fixed. But just something to look out for if you're exporting this as PDF. Okay, which I'm about to do. So I'm going to go to File, Export As, and since I'm finished with this newspaper, I will just scroll down here to where it says Hattie Harrison's Party 1, and I'm going to change that to 2. I have 3 different PDF files. Okay, I have the clipping, that's going to be page 1. I have the highlighted full page, that's going to be page 2, and I also have my original here, which I'm going to end up getting rid of after I'm satisfied with my result. So Hattie Harrison's Party 2 is about to be exported. Okay, and this is going to take a little while, again, just because it's a larger document. Okay, export. And then once this is finished, we're going to join the 2 PDF files into one using the PDF split and merge software. So that's what you have to look forward to. Good, that looks like it's finished. So here I will close this GIMP, and I'm going to discard the changes. It's already been exported, so I don't need to save my layers or anything like that. I'm satisfied with the look of it. Okay, and there. So now I have these 3 PDF files, and I'm going to view this one before going to merge them. And this being a larger image file, it takes a little while for my computer to load this, and there we go. Okay, so you can see this turned out well. My highlights are transparent as they ought to be, and the page size looks good. So I'm going to close this, and I'm going to open my PDF split and merge software. However you open your software on your computer, go ahead and do it. But this assumes that you went to the PDF split and merge website and downloaded and installed that software. And once this loads up, you see it has to load a few things. Okay. And this is actually kind of a simple software to use. There's a lot of different things you can do with your PDFs, but I'm not going to bore you with all that. What I want to do is just merge those 2 PDFs that I just made, and take a look at this merge extract. That's going to be the setting you want to use for this type of procedure. Then you're just going to want to add the files that you want to merge together into a single PDF. So for me, it's going to be under Genealogy, latest family documents. Okay, Mine has a little difficulty. You can see it gets a little jumbled as I scroll through. I don't know if that's on all platforms, but I'll learn to live with it. So here are the ones that I want to add. Shift click to select more than one and open them. Okay, you can see I have both of these files here. They're ready to be merged. I want to create a destination. And here, when I create my destination, I like to use the date and the name of the newspaper in there. So it may require one final look at this. Open with QPDF. So This Week in Society, melange of events. That's the name of the article that I'm using. And Inquirer, April 2nd, 1899. So I'm going to write those things in here. This Week in Society, melange of events, Inquirer, and then I write 2 April 1899. Okay, and that'll be .pdf. And open. Okay, so that's going to be my new file name. It's going to end up in the same folder as my original, so I'm just going to click on Run. It's a little ding when it's finished. There it is, ding. Okay. Now, let's view this. It is This Week in Society, melange of events, open with QPDF view. And you can see the finished result. Okay, this is a 2-page PDF file. Important information, pertinent information is blown up in the first page of the PDF file. Full page is below. And that's how I like to present my newspaper.